You are watching the best of The Alex Jones Show, weekdays from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central. Watch live at Infowars.com/show or become a member of InfoWarsNews.com and help us take resistance to the next level.
Well, Barack Obama's spending his Valentine's Day away from Michelle O, I'm sure with a pile of cocaine, a carton of cigarettes. Hillary, I'm sure, is going to be spending it with her girlfriends. And hey, that's what Valentine's Day's for, huh? All right, let's get serious. CBS News says that there's record cold weather all over the northern hemisphere because of global warming. Winter storm has killed at least 12 people across the south. A storm wipes out power for thousands. CBS again blames global warming for bad weather. Of course, the Arctic was supposed to be melted this year. Remember that? Al Gore said that back in 2007 and 2009. Keep laughing, he said. It's going to be completely melted. Of course, it's record thickness in the last 50 years. So canceled airlines scrap record number of flights. That's just some of what we're going to be covering. But don't worry, the TSA is not showing up to keep you safe from imaginary threats staged by criminal elements of the government. Snowstorm keeps TSA agents home, causes security line chaos at Newark Airport. So that is all in the news. Meanwhile, I'm sure they'll blame this on global warming too. Mass evacuation of 20,000 in Indonesia as Java volcano erupts. And I've actually seen the fake environmentalist, like it's voodoo or something, claim that we're having volcanic activity because of global warming, which is supposedly from carbon dioxide, and they say Mother Earth is mad at us. I think if there's a Mother Earth that's mad about the GMO and the nuclear power plants leaking all over the place, not about carbon dioxide that plants breathe. I mean, I'm just sorry. They want to tax part of the carbon cycle. That's why they've picked that. Mark Moreno, who heads up the Climate Depot, the foremost group clearinghouse exposing the fraud that is man-made global warming and why we should be concerned about it, how it's a societal takeover excuse. He's going to be joining us coming up in the second hour for 30 minutes. And then we saw a music video a few weeks ago. We said, man, that looks like our show or something. That must be a really tuned in, smart folks. Of course, I like Korn, listen to Metallica, Megadeth, you name it. I mean, I like good, hard music. And I know they've had some messages of liberty in the past. So we sent them an email and said, hey, are you listeners of the show? Would you like to come on? And sure enough, they are. So they're going to talk about their music video. Jonathan Davis, lead singer of Korn, is going to come on for about 25, 30 minutes at the start of the third hour today. Always good to reach out to more folks out there in the entertainment industry who are putting out great music videos, really exposing the whole system. And believe me, they try to keep them on a short leash. It takes Billy Corrigan a lot of courage to come on this show. It takes Dave Mustaine a lot of courage to come on this show. People like Jimmy Vaughn who've come on over the years. The media paints him up as a bad boy. But all I need to do is call him. He keeps saying for years he'll come on. Everybody demonized him so much, but he really is a nice guy overall and has matured quite a bit in my view. He's kind of the Americana story. I need to get Jesse James in here someday as well, because he's not scared to talk about guns and liberty and freedom. There's so many people but who know what's going on who will not come on the show, like Bruce Willis. And again, I'm not calling out Bruce Willis. It's not his job to come out and say his view on the New World Order, though he told Vanity Fair that he's woken up to the New World Order and that the left and right are controlled and that the same people that killed Kennedy are running the country today. It's just that it's frustrating. Imagine if Bruce Willis, he's a smart guy, has a lot of political pull, he's never really been political, people listen to him, good-looking guy. Imagine if he came out. People like Rick Linklater have come out on the show, many, many others. I guess Mike Judge has come on the show and criticized the corrupt system and kind of the mafia of the Democrats. And he said, I was never a Democrat or a Republican. I'm liberal on some issues, conservative on others. But he said the bullying of the Democrats and the IRS stuff and the way they act, I mean, it's just... And Michael Moore with his bodyguards and then saying, I can't own a gun. He said it really turned him against him.
The
globalists have controlled the mainstream media for a long time, but now they're expanding, making the weaponization even more vicious and deceptive. All the major networks are state-run.
We are partnering this year with the NFL.
The NFL has become a political weapon against the Second Amendment and pushes Obamacare. MSNBC tells us that our children belong to the state.
We have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities.
The brainwashing media machine has been turned up on high, and it's time for humanity to double down on the true people's media and strike back against the tyrants that are destroying our civilization with their lies and fraud. We are the resistance. You are the resistance. You are the info war. It is more important than ever to realize that we are not the alternative media. We are the true media. The establishment dinosaur press is dying.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war.
Join us at InfoWarsNews.com and PrisonPlanet.tv. Members can share their memberships with up to 11 people. By subscribing, you will literally be buying war bonds in the info war to expand our operation in the face of the tyrants. Join us at PrisonPlanet.tv. I was not here yesterday. You know, I thought because I went out and shot a bunch of guns up close and might have breathed in some of the gunpowder. That's why I had a sore throat. Turns out I had a fever the last few days and finally decided to check it and did have about 101. And so I didn't come into work yesterday. In the old days, I would come in with a fever, but I just did not want to sound like a toad on air. But I'm here today. My fever broke last night, and I did a little bit of light exercise this morning. And so I am here today trying not to have a giant coughing fit because I feel like I have fire ants in my lungs right now. But I am here. I'm very thankful that you have tuned in for this Friday, Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2014. Goodness gracious. Saints alive, it is hard to keep saying 2014. Even though we're already halfway in, it's a short month, 28 days, February. We are already halfway in, ladies and gentlemen, to the second month of 2014. Absolutely incredible. We do have the lead singer of Korn, who's got some, Jonathan Davies, who is a critic of the New World Order, the one world government, and our Lord and Savior, as Jamie Foxx calls him, Barack Obama. So he's going to commit massive heresy and sacrilege, speaking out against the dear leader. That doesn't mean he then supports the Republicans. It just means he doesn't support Obama. It's kind of like go to a used car dealership and they have two cars for sale and you decide you don't want either one. We're going to be talking about that with him for about 30 minutes at the start of the third hour. And then Mark Moreno will be joining us to talk about the record cold and the record at northern and southern ice caps and what's happening with the sun and the fact that CBS News and others are saying all of this is happening, all of this is unfolding, all of this is going on because of global warming. If you just pay Al Gore and Obama and literally the Rothschilds and Rockefellers and George Soros money to the Chicago and New York and London climate exchanges, everything would be okay. And here's the Hill newspaper right now. Headline, Obama to pitch $1 million climate change resilience fund in California. The fund would be needed to be approved by Congress and intended to help communities deal with negative weather. That's the result of climate change. They're going to pay people when you have normal, weather fluctuations, drought, floods, you name it. The only thing that's normal is that you do have fluctuations. The only thing normal is climate change. Well, they'll pay you to sign on and agree to it like an indulgence, or I guess like faith-based initiatives. President Obama will pitch the new $1 billion climate resilience fund during a visit Friday to California. Obama is touting the fund during a trip to California, which has been devastated by drought that is threatening the Central Valley's agricultural production. Why'd you shut down all the northern lake locks, claiming it's for some sucker fish that's not even indigenous? 5 years ago, they shut the water off in Klamath and other areas and a bunch of other lakes. They're just brimming with water right now. Don't worry, the feds are here to save you. All collectivist systems work so well. That's just some of the news on that front. But again, it's record cold. Just look at DrudgeReport.com. FAA grounds flower delivery drone, keeping us safe from that. Just a gimmick drone that flies a few thousand yards. Mid-Atlantic storm, 9th biggest ever recorded. Snow in 49 states. Great Lakes icebreakers exhausted. Thousands without power. Residents cook food in fireplaces. Well, you're going to ban those under 1021. 100-car pileups on PA Turnpike. Philly snowfall shatters 130-year-old record. Pregnant woman killed by snowplow in Brooklyn. Body found covered in snow in D.C. street. Yeah, a bunch of deaths. Blizzard to lash eastern New England Saturday. And then you got Obama's slush fund. But don't worry, nightmare flights canceled nationwide in different states from coast to coast. And the TSA, doctors and nurses will walk 6-7 miles to get to their patients. But the TSA, they won't even take a taxi. No, they're just going to stay home. They are just going to stay home. And a major magazine is asking, is the snapping turtle, the National Journal asks, is the snapping turtle too old to run? No, I don't think Hillary Clinton's too old to run. I think she's too evil to run, too openly corrupt to run. And I can't believe, Kurt Nimmo wrote an article last night for Infowars.com. In fact, maybe you guys will print me that out of the archive. I was gone yesterday. There was a lot of big stories I saw and which I almost ended up calling into the show. You print me everything in the archive, the news archive, the top story archive, all the interesting stories. Thanks. So I want to go over some of those today. I just remember there's a bunch of them I want to get to. But no. She's too evil to be president. But I understand under the gimmick of a woman, you'd want a Sarah Palin. Or you'd want, some 40, 50-year-old woman to run because, the gimmick was that Obama was young and well-spoken and I guess some people said good-looking. I think he looks like a space alien, quite frankly. I don't think he's good-looking. And that didn't mean for a black guy, a white guy, anybody. I mean, Jakari Jackson's a good-looking guy, whether you call him black or white. Somebody around the office like Weldon Henson's a good-looking guy. It doesn't matter if he's black or white. I mean, Hillary Clinton is ugly, period. Ugly inside, ugly outside. Look at the photo on Drudge. I mean, that's why I call her a snapping turtle, man. She looks like an old, mean, diseased, infested snapping turtle. And right next to her, Michelle Obama looks like a narcissistic crocodile / vampire / snapping turtle / man. If you want to start a conspiracy theory, it's well reported that Obama, is pitching and batting he's working for both teams, basically. And, I'm not judging him, there. My whole issue is that, maybe the secret word is that Michelle Obama is really a man. Anybody, I'm sure they're all going to pick that up in magazines. It's a joke. And if all the Democratic Party operations can't take a joke, good, that's the whole point. You have no power, you can do nothing to me, attack me. I'm sure you'll take the bait. Because that's I'm talking about your Lord and Savior, Hillary, saying she looks like an ugly snapping turtle. And you're the one saying come out of the closet about everything. So Hillary and Michelle Obama both have arranged marriages for basically kids that are used as beards for Obama and the Clintons and the rest of them. And I don't even mean a gay beard. Like somebody has a wife or a husband so they can go out in their profession and look manly or look feminine. I'm saying a beard for the fact that you use your kids politically like Obama has dogs as a beard. And I was not a fan of George W. Bush. Everybody knew this. But their dogs are not beards. They're kissing them. They're carrying them on and off the airplane. I know spoiled dogs when I see them. You look at Obama's dogs, no one even knows where they're at or what's going on. Remember the day after Clinton was out of office, his dog died mysteriously at like age 6? It's like, get rid of the prop. They're totally fake. They're totally plastic is my point. And it's all a facade up there. I think it's discriminatory, though, in Homeland Security and in government that women who are heterosexual can't get jobs. I mean, I really think it's weird that the heads of Homeland Security and the heads of the Justice Department and, the news anchors, everybody else, why is it if you're not gay, you can't get a job, basically, in the modern power structure? I mean, I'm just laying the truths out here. They're so obsessed with it and want to push it out there. I'm sick of it. I'll just bring it all out. I mean, I personally have heard just about enough of all of it, and it makes me disgusting. Makes me absolutely want to throw up how fake these people. Nancy Pelosi's come out on Valentine's Day and said, why would anybody want to get married? Yeah, just have a couple kids And we'll get that video for later. Have a couple kids and then just give them over to the state. What a witch-like woman. Nancy, another snapping turtle Pelosi. She's courting the singles demographics this Valentine's Day. Yeah, pitching that it's not popular to have kids. Let me tell you something, women and men. Women don't want to have kids till they're 35. And they want to do one thing after that, and that's have kids. And then by the time they're 40 and haven't had kids, they go crazy and they got to have kids. So keep thinking you're on the winning team because you're running around never having kids. Women, you only get sexier after you've had kids. And you only get smarter. And I'm not trying to push people having kids. That's your decision. But why do we have all this anti-child stuff? It's because the globalists have plenty of third world populations they're ready to bring in to replace you. And that's what's really going on here. The globalist social engineers are not just targeting us with propaganda. They are manipulating our genetics. We are being targeted at every level by estrogen mimickers that lower our testosterone and other hormones and natural compounds that the body needs. After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic super male vitality formula sourced from powerful organic herbs and then concentrated for maximum potency. Super Male Vitality was developed to activate your body's own natural processes instead of using synthetic chemicals. Super Male Vitality by InfoWars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose. For a limited time, we are offering 15% off Super Male Vitality at InfoWarsLife.com to introduce you to this powerful supplement. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality. InfoWarsLife.com. I really do love our listeners, and I appreciate you every day putting up with me. That's what I say to folks when they come over with stars in their eyes, shaking my hand on the side of the street, these families and people. I just say, thanks for putting up with me. Wow, where to start? Where to begin? You know, I mentioned this article, government lays groundwork to confiscate your 401k and IRA. Quote, this is happening. That's in a Reuters article that's up on Infowars.com. Pretty big deal. Pretty big deal to have quotes like that right out of Reuters. And we've just got so much more. I've got to get to all this. But first off, I thought I'd just play you more ridiculous lies from Obama, the king of lies. Really, he makes Bill Clinton look truthful. It almost could call Obama the father of lies, but we know he's only the son of lies. Think about Pelosi coming out and saying, "I don't get married." Just like attacking everything. And I was in the coffee room during the break getting some coffee, and Biden was on C-SPAN. And he was saying, look, it doesn't matter our education scores are dropping. Our children question the status quo, and we're going to bring down the old system to build the new. And everybody in the audience of Democrats knew what he was talking about. He says, you've got to bring down the old system to build a new one. I mean, literal Cloward and Piven quote. That's why I told him, hey, we got a DVR on there. Back that up. Record C-SPAN. To the C-SPAN TV. There's a couple of them in there, but I want that clip. Super creepy. Like, that's newsworthy, by the way. If you take the clip about, you know, our test scores, people want to criticize those. Well, at least our kids question the status quo, and people think the holy grail is you know, culture and what's been in the past. Well, I'm not saying we should not innovate, but this is an innovation. This is going back to enslavement, and they know it. You know, oh, don't be married, don't have kids, live in a tiny apartment so you can pay us more tax money, don't have a car, don't have air conditioning if you live in Africa. Lower your expectations because we want everything for ourselves to politically control you. I mean, that's their stated goal. And they're selling it like it's sexy on a high ground, talking about how courageous they are to do this. I mean, I was in there for like 3 minutes during the break with my mouth hanging open, just looking at Biden. But I'm now digressing. Here's candidate Obama. This is an article up on Infowars.com right now. I will reverse biggest problem of executive abuse of power. He said no signing statements, 5 days to read the bills, no lobbyist. He just... I don't know, executive power grab 5 times Bush. I mean, it's amazing. Everything he said he'd do, he did the opposite. But people who are still Democrats are bought into it. And it's like, he's their guy, so you're trying to put down their guy. Let's go to that clip of El Presidente.
You know, I taught constitutional law for 10 years. I take the Constitution very seriously. The biggest problems that we're facing right now have to do with George Bush trying to bring more and more power into the executive branch and not go through Congress at all. And that's what I intend to reverse when I'm president of the United States of America.
Well, there you go. Now, you know, who would you want to kill somebody with a knife if you had to hire somebody to do it? You'd hire a thoracic surgeon, maybe. And that's basically what they've done with Obama. He's a constitutional lawyer, so he knows how to slit the throat of the carotid arteries and the jugulars better than anybody. And he does know exactly what he's doing. And now has put his whole agenda into hyper-warp drive.